Reiner!
So this isn't my story yet, but I'm just going to tell you right now, I'm in denial of the fact that my car is probably going to get towed from this confusing neighborhood where the street signs make it very unclear about without sticker number 17. I think I'm a goner. Did anybody else have that problem? Okay, good. We'll all be in traffic court together. Okay. So in the early 1970s, when I was growing up in a pretty average American family, 2 parents, 2 kids, 1 dog, 1 split-level house, my parents were really proud to keep up with the Joneses. And the way you did that in the early 1970s was you got variegated shag carpeting. They covered up perfectly good, beautiful hardwood floor with wall-to-wall, green, 3 different colored, variegated shag carpeting. And this was my parents' pride and joy. Anytime they had company over, did you see the new carpeting? It goes all the way wall to wall. So this was the exciting thing in our household that summer until Mrs. Finkelstein next door got a new refrigerator. And with that came an enormous box. So my sister and I got custody of the box, and we put it in the backyard, and we opened both ends of it, and we'd watched a little too much news about the Vietnam War because we decided we were going to combat crawl through that box and pretend that we were under siege. And we did this over and over and over and over. And my mother called to say, hollered out the window to say, come on in, wash your hands, it's time for dinner. And my sister, who was a complete goody two-shoes, got right up and went right in. But I hadn't reached that rank yet. I was only maybe a goody one-shoe. And so I decided I'm going to crawl through the box one more time. So I ran around the box, and I got down on my stomach, and I combat crawled through the box. By now, we've done it so many times that those enormous staples that hold the box together had come loose. So I combat crawled right across, and I scraped the underside of my arm. So now I'm bleeding. I'm crying. My mother, of course, is giving the old, well, if you had come in when I told you to come in, the little guilt trip thing. But I'm crying and I'm boohooing. And so she said, go upstairs to the medicine cabinet, get a Band-Aid, and get the mercurochrome. Anybody in the room remember what mercurochrome is? So anybody who's not a baby boomer, this may not even help. Anybody who's not a baby boomer, it's a red medicine, and the way I say it's not going to help, it comes in something that looks a little bit like the container that whiteout comes in. Do the non-baby boomers know what whiteout is? Okay. So it's a little bottle, it's got a little lid, and when you pull the lid out, there's like an application dropper thingy. So my mother applies this mercurochrome to the cut. It's supposed to, sterilize it, whatever, and it's red medicine. And then she sends me back upstairs to put it away, wash my hands, come down for dinner. So I walk into the living room area, and I look at this, and I decide she didn't apply enough mercurochrome to my cannonball-sized wound, And so I take the bottle, and I unscrew the lid. This isn't a good story for radio. I unscrew the lid, and I turn, here's the bottle. Yeah. I turn it like this, and I apply a generous amount of mercurochrome to the bottom of this cut. And then I go like this to put the lid back on, and I realize that I've just poured the entire bottle on the brand new shag carpeting. So behind me now, there's a like 10-inch circle of what looks like a Vietnam War soldier's been shot in our living room. And my mother's like, Karen, wash your hands, dinner. So I hustle upstairs, and I'm smart enough to know my parents are going to be furious, but I'm stupid enough to believe that if I don't say anything about it, nobody will notice. It's a 10-inch circle of red. So I go to the dining table, I eat my whole dinner, I eat all my vegetables without being told. Afterwards, my parents their habit was to go watch the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite, and then we would do the dishes. So I decide I'm going to do the dishes while they watch the news, and I'm going to do my homework without being asked, and I'm going to be a goody two-shoes, and no one will notice the red stain in the rug. And so I do all this stuff, and I go up to my room to start my homework without being asked, and I'm like, the halo is just growing. And I hear my mother gasp. And then she calls my dad, Bob, the shag carpeting. Something's happened to the shag carpeting. And my dad comes into the room, and I'm up in my room just like, oh. And they came up and they asked me if I knew what happened, and then I pretended I didn't, because I'm 6, and I think I can still, wish this thing away. And in the end, I had to fess up. I had to come completely clean. And I thought that was the end of my life. But the next day, my mother called a man from the carpet store who came to the house, and he had this big round template, and he put it down over the stain, and he cut the whole carpet, pulled the plug out that I had stained, used the template to make a new circle, glued it in, had me help. I raked all that fuzzy, hairy carpet back together. It looked like it had never, ever happened. The gentleman's name was Mr. Applegate. I can still remember what he looked like. If I bumped him on the street today, he was my hero. But that was the day I learned that denial was not going to work in my favor. And from then on out, I never lied to my parents, and I earned my goody two-shoes. Thank you.
One more time for Karen.